Dear citizens of Germany, France, all European Union countries, your support to Ukraine is more important than ever. After all, now our country is fighting for democracy, freedom, human values, fighting for life and peace both in Ukraine and in Europe. There is a fire shield between Russia's brutality and the entire civilized world. Russia has invaded our land, and this is very cynical, because Russian and Ukrainian peoples there are not just neighbors, we are also like closest friends. For us Ukrainians, Russians were the older brother. We have many common pages of history. We went hand in hand with World War II and celebrated the great victory. Never again. How can you imagine what is happening now? That we will receive such a blow from our closest friends, our Russian relatives. In a peaceful life, we sang songs, joked, laughed together. Almost every Russian has friends and relatives in Ukraine. This is unbelievable, but with all the possibilities of communication, the internet, despite common sense, despite the information they received from us Ukrainians, believed the Kremlin's lies. How can you to the conclusion that you understand the problems of a foreign country better than the people who live in it? How can it be accepted that problems can be solved with tanks, and when no one called them to Ukraine? Protect the Russian-speaking population, and this is in a country where people speak in Russian, learn Russian language, where Russian language has the same rights as Ukrainian, although officially Ukraine is the state language, and this is quite understandable. Of course, each country has its own internal problems, and they must be fully resolved internally if the other country's interests are not affected. It seems that ordinary Russians have lost their ability to think, and this is the worst. To allow aggression, Russia's military invasion on Ukraine, to remain silent, to accept it normally is simply unbelievable to believe, but it happens. And now, being at war, holding one of the largest armies in the world, we Ukrainians need your support. Our strength is in the courage, the indomitable spirit of our army, our people. But we really need the support of all countries that want peace in Europe, peace in the world. We are at the forefront, and European countries are now our rear. We must persevere to keep the aggressor out of your home. And that's why we need your support on all fronts. First of all, it is military support. Don't stop. Help with weapons, military forces. Since Russia invaded Ukraine, European countries have not been able to feel safe. Soldiers at the EU countries, join our army. Fight for peace in your homes, in your families, on our land, in Ukraine. We need such help in the first place, and you need it. Help on the information front. Shout, go out, tell the truth to people in all countries, and especially in Russia and Belarus. Thank you for your financial and humanitarian support. We need green corridors to bring out civilians, children, women. Help us. Support the rallies so that Ukraine can join the family of the peoples of the European Union and NATO as soon as possible. We are like you. We have the same values. We don't want to be under the forces of evil, and we must win together. We have no other choice. Only peace, tranquility, goodness, freedom, normal human values. Support the increase of economic sanctions for Kremlin leaders, members of their families, their children, for ordinary Russians. It works. Russians do not hear the tears of our mothers, our children, don't hear the sounds of explosions. Everything is fine for them. Let them feel their guilt at the economic level. Think about why the world boycotts them, blocks them, isolates them from themselves. Block the Nord Stream 2 project, which according to Chancellor Merkel was built for purely economic reasons and in no way threatens Ukraine, in fact destructive to our economy. The fact that the gas flow bypasses Ukraine doesn't contribute to the development of Ukraine's economy. If it's launched, it will work for aggressor, for Russia. After all, this is Russia's weapon against Ukraine and against the entire civilized world. The money you pay Russia for gas, it spends on weapons against Ukraine. And if we assume that Ukraine will not survive, then who knows where Putin's aggression will stop? What are his plans to seize native Russian lands? Who else will he want to free? So we need to block this shameful project as soon as possible. Please shout, demand to close the sky over Ukraine. We decisively defeat the aggressor on the ground, but to fight his fury in the sky, to withstand his missile streaks is incredibly difficult. You can help us, and this is not only our problem. Help us, help yourself. It is no secret to anyone in the normal world what inhuman plans Russia has and what inhuman methods it uses to achieve them. Let's stop the aggressor together, for the sake of peace and tranquility, for the sake of life in Ukraine, in all European countries. KOLVI team.